Welcome back to Toya Talks, y'all. This is the show where Toya talks about whatever she feel like. It could be whatever, anything, whatever's on my mind. So how y'all doing? Last episode, like I'm pretty sure you can see some differences here, bro. That last episode I did, I was having so many technical difficulties when it came to like recording, and then I recorded this because it looked good on preview. And then when I heard the playback, I was like, oh my God, this audio is... But you know what? I didn't want to ruin it because, I said a lot. I said what was on my mind. It's not anything I could really recreate. So I was like, fuck it. We just gonna roll with it. And that's it. So matter of fact, I actually recorded a second episode using that same method because I didn't realize the audio was kind of fucked. So I pretty much scrapped that one because it was a short video anyway. I might revisit it later on. We'll see. But this one I wanted to go ahead and do since it's fairly fresh. Trying to go ahead and do topics or things that people might be talking about like in current times. So, we're not bringing up some shit from like 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, I wanted to do this one, and then whatever if my previous topic that I was gonna do was about internet drama. So I'll probably revisit that next week because some more shit popped off with the person I was talking about. So we'll see. We gonna work it out. How long has it been? Like a week since I posted the first one? I don't even know. It's a lot going on. Family stuff, work stuff. It's just been hectic. So, yeah. I don't know. But fuck it. You know what? We here now. We gonna go ahead and get it done. And, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Yeah. So first topic. And as you can see, I have a little area where you can see the topics that I'm going to talk about, so you guys aren't really like lost. I mean, I'll put it in the title, but you can see it on screen. So what I'll probably do down the line, I'll probably put like timestamps, because actually, I'll try to do timestamps. If you don't, maybe check in the comments or the description. I'll probably have timestamps for everything that I talk about. That way, if you want to skip something, you can just go to that section. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first topic, we're gonna talk about some football, y'all. We're gonna talk about the Bears. Like I mentioned the last podcast when I was talking about myself, I told you guys that I am a Bears fan. Okay, so if you don't know, now you know I am a Bears fan. Bears, the Bears. Week 2. We are in week 2. Okay, well, we just finished week 2. We're going into week 3. So the date that this is actually recorded is the 21st of September. So this is Monday, the day after they just had their second game of the season. Oh my goodness, my Bears fans. I know y'all hear me when I say that game was, those games, I should say both games, not just this one. Both games were a bit rough when it came down to like the final minutes, because we damn near lost the game. We 2-0, but we could easily be 0-2, just as easily, bro. First of all, the first game, the Detroit Lions, that was week 1. We played the Detroit Lions. Oh boy, there's so many things that I could tell y'all about how I feel. But the Detroit Lions, they're an okay team. They're not a team like, when you're going through your schedule to see all the teams that you're playing for the season. If you see the Detroit Lions, usually you're not worried. It's like, oh yeah, that's a guaranteed win, or that's like a 70 to 80% chance that we're gonna win. It's a higher percentage. It's not like that, oh man, I don't know how we're gonna play. It could go either way. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be confident that you're gonna beat the Lions. And that's not really a jab at them. They're just okay. They're usually 3rd or 4th in our division. So they're not a team I'm usually too worried about. But with that being said, I do respect Matthew Stafford as the QB that he is. And he's like a hit or miss guy. I want to say he reminds me of Trubisky, but he makes those good throws occasionally, and you're like, oh shit, he got us there. But then if he throws a pick, you're like, okay, that's kind of expected. You know, he's an average QB. Okay, he's not. I wouldn't call him elite, but I mean, I give him his props. He's been around for a bit. He got toughness. But fucking, bro, the way that game started. So we went 3 quarters with, we did what, 2 field goals? Oh, excuse me. And we did one or 2 field goals? I forgot what the score was. Going into the 4th quarter, I know we hadn't scored a touchdown until the 4th quarter. I know that for sure. First 3 quarters were horrible. Okay. And this is another thing, like, I can't even really say, like, oh, it's because there was no preseason. Because if you look at other teams, like the playoff teams, I should say, the playoff teams, they play like this is another game, another day in the office, like, whatever. Preseason, what's that? That's literally how it was. Like, they were chilling. But nope, good old Bears fashion. They just want to start the shit off. Excuse me. They want to start the shit off with a bang. But yeah, so we were down up until the 4th quarter, and all of a sudden, Trubisky decides he wants to go ahead and be like, yo, I'm about to throw 3 TDs. And yeah. And damn it, bro. And then the fact that there was still a chance for the Lions to come back. If the dude did not drop the ball in the end zone, we would have lost for sure. Because I think it was only like 6 seconds left. Unless a miracle happened, and if he did score and somehow Patterson got the ball down off the kickoff, which I highly doubt they would have kicked to him. They would have just did a squib kick or some shit and then just called it a day. Listen, we could have lost that game. We should have lost that game, okay? So we got that game, and I'm like, you know what, okay. You know, no preseason. Quinn was out. I think he was hurt. We had a couple other guys that were out. Not a lot of defensive pressure as much as I would have hoped, like for Mack and Hicks. And even like offense, like even though they kind of took off in the 4th quarter, there wasn't really anything that stood out like, yo, our offense, we got a decent offense. I feel like as long as I've been watching the Bears, I feel like they've never really had a great offense. Like, they've had an okay offense. They got the job done. But for the most part, it's always been defense. Our defense scores points. Now, week 2, we played the Giants, okay? So we're playing a young quarterback. And I didn't really keep up with dude. I don't really know his play style, how well he does, all that shit. But he almost had us too. The thing is that this game, it seemed like it was the complete opposite, where we went from first game we did horrible at the start. First 3 quarters were horrible. 4th quarter was that was the game. This game we started out pretty good. We started out hot. First TD, we got a TD on our first possession. I think we got another field goal, and I'm trying to think. We had another, because it was 17. We won 17 to, yeah. So we got 2 TDs and a field goal. So we went out, first half, we were up 17-0. It's like, We got this in the bag. Okay. Yeah, we could have scored more points to get a more comfortable lead, but I'm like, yo, we got this. Last 2 quarters go by, and I'm like, yo, this dude he got cold. He got cold. The defense just decided, yo, it's time to take a break. Let the mofos score again and get some more points on the board, a couple more points. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then had the nerve to go down the field for one more try and nearly won the game again because they were in the red zone. They just couldn't get in because they needed a touchdown. They needed a touchdown to win. A field goal wasn't gonna cut it. So yeah, they couldn't do it. So we ended up winning that game too. So we could have easily been 0-2, just like how we're 2-0 now. We definitely could have been 0-2. Oh my goodness, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. My apologies. I should have got some more water actually. But we'll make do. So my thoughts so far, like I said, we're 2 weeks in, 2 games in, and to be quite honest, because like I listened to the commentators during the game, and they're like, "Are we gonna get the 2018 Bears when they kind of turned around and shocked everybody and went to the playoffs and then lost in the wild card game?" We're not gonna talk about that. Or are we gonna get the 2019 Bears where they just took a complete 180 and were like not the same team that they were last year? I remember coming into 2019 that season, and there was so much hype behind the Bears as they're like, yo, they're gonna be the team to beat now. And like I remember seeing all these bandwagoner fans, like all of a sudden they want to go ahead and cheer for the Bears. I'm like, bro, y'all wasn't there when we was in the trenches, okay? And now those same people that was rooting for the Bears in 2019 ain't nowhere to be found. This is bandwagoners. This is nothing you can really do about bandwagoners. They're just gonna go ahead and ride the team who's winning, and that's it. Claim that they've been fans since day one. Nah, I've been riding with the Bears, and they losing seasons. I've been rocking with the Bears forever, bro. I win or lose, I'm still a Bears fan. So my concerns, like I said, people talking about which Bears are we gonna get? Are we gonna get 2018 Bears, or are we gonna get 2019 Bears? By the looks of it, it's kind of hard to tell because I can see like flashes of 2018 Bears, but then it's like they're not consistent. So then it feels like we're back to 2019 all over again. It's like the simplest of shit. I'm like, hello, can we move down the field? When we do move down the field, we can't finish the drive. We either in punting or getting a field goal. It's really, oh man, I don't know if y'all hear that in the background. Sorry. It's like a hit or miss, even though it's more misses than anything. So it's kind of hard to gauge how they're gonna be for the rest of the season. Some people make the some people make the argument that because there was no preseason, they're kind of struggling a bit. But you can't really argue that when you got the playoff teams, they're doing just fine. They came out like this another day. So, yeah. The thing that always upsets me the most is, so you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Trubisky is at best average. I honestly don't see him really being that quarterback that people want him to be. As much as I want him to be that quarterback, I honestly believe in my heart that he's just not the one, yo. If anything, he's gonna be average, just average. He's not gonna be up there with the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Bradys and the Jesus Christ, Drew Breeses. He's not gonna be up there, unfortunately. But maybe we can get it together on the other side of the ball, or at least do enough that we can go ahead and make it back into the playoffs. I would see that as progress, because if we don't make the playoffs again, I don't know what to say, bro. I really don't. But there's so much pressure on the quarterback. I gotta get that. But I mean, it's a whole unit. It's a team. Like, you can put all that pressure on the quarterback. Like, quarterback is the leader. Quarterback needs to do this. Quarterback needs to make plays. Quarterback needs to make throws. Blah, 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 blah. He can't do that if he doesn't have a solid offensive line, for one. Our O-line, honestly, has not been the best, like, ever, to be quite honest. Going back to the times when we had Cutler, Rex Grossman. They just weren't, I don't know, I just felt like it's never really been there. Like, they're average. And, man, and then wide receivers, like running back, we were good with running back, but same thing applies. You need a good O-line. You need an O-line to block. You can't expect a running back to go and make a play out of nothing if they don't have a hole or anything, no type of blocking. The receivers, I feel like these receivers don't get the separation that they need to be able to make a play. So obviously, when we're looking at the game at home, we're looking at the QB holding the ball, where he's sitting there looking to throw him. He's just waiting and waiting. We don't see what he sees. 9 times out of 10, he probably don't see nobody that is open. And if he does, he might try to force a throw. And that's the other thing, Trubisky, he's not consistent with his throws. He's not as accurate as I would like. He misses wide open guys. Sometimes he makes questionable throws. Just like, the first interception he got against the Giants. That one, some people are arguing that should have been pass interference. Yes, and then also I feel like the throw should have never been made in the first place. You're throwing to Allen Robinson, and oh my God, the Allen Robinson drama with him not getting a new contract yet. Oh my God. Pay the man. Just pay the man. He's the best receiver we got on the team. Just pay the man. But no, you're throwing to a guy. It doesn't matter if he's the number one receiver on the team. You're throwing to a guy that has a dude on his hip. He's like neck and neck with him. He could jump. He had it. He had caught the ball, and it just fell into the other guy's hands. It's like the dude was damn near just hugging him. Like, he should have never made that throw. He was on top of him. He had no type of separation. And that's just that side of the ball. Defense is a whole nother story. Our defense is okay. And I know that people say that, they're scary. But it just seems like they get outbeat. They get beat on some of the, I want to say not the bigger plays, but they let a lot of big plays go. So it's like, you can't hold the third down. You're allowing them to get third down conversions. You're allowing the big play, whether it's the back running through for 20 plus yards, or letting a receiver get open in the middle of the field and get a 30 or 40 yard catch. Like, it's things like that shouldn't be happening. Like, obviously it's gonna happen, but the amount of times that it happens, it's like, okay, it's we gotta do better. I miss Vic Fangio. I really do. What's his name? Chuck, the new guy, Chuck Fangio, whatever his name is. I don't know. Like, obviously, since Vic left, they just really haven't been performing the same. But, yeah. But honestly, that's really all I got for the Bears. It's not really much. It's more or less, I guess, my opinion on what they need to change, kind of, I guess. Or at least in my eyes, or what I see. But the main part, honestly, is just the fact that if they keep playing how they played these first two games, they're not getting far. Because both of these teams, the teams that they beat barely, were not good teams. So imagine if they, because I forgot the rest of their schedule, what their schedule looks like. And actually, I can pull it up right now. But I mean, like, if you're struggling against teams that didn't even make it to 500 last season, what are you gonna do against the teams that actually are good, the guys that did make it to the playoffs last year? I'm trying to see if I can find the here we go, schedule. So next we play the Falcons. Haven't been following the Falcons, honestly. So we got the Falcons, the Colts, the Bucks, Panthers, Rams. Was that last year when we beat them and everybody thought that we weren't? I don't remember. Was that last year or the year before? Saints, Titans, the Vikings. Then we got a bye week. And the Packers. Of course, we got to play the Packers twice. They're in our division. And Lions, Texans, Vikings, Jags, and Packers. Man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, some of those teams, they're going to be tough. So, moving on. Let's move on to the next topic. That's enough about the Bears. Because they're going to give me a headache. I literally got a headache in the middle of the day after watching that game. It's funny. Because that was a rough game. Alright, so next, we're going to talk about these sports protests, okay? From the NBA to the NFL, I don't know if any other sports are doing protests. Those are really the only sports that I follow. Mostly football I follow. I only know about NBA protests just because I see people talking about it on Facebook. I know of basketball, but it's not a sport that I follow. So I know it started with the NBA. They had they had the Black Lives Matter t-shirts. They were doing their kneeling and all of that. And some people were upset. Some people were like, okay, this is good. And then this is, hopefully I don't talk about this too long because I don't want to spend too much time on it. But the first game of the NFL season, it was the Chiefs versus the Texans. And I'm not a fan of neither of the teams, but I missed football so much I just wanted to watch the game, okay? So I was sitting up there Thursday night watching the game. And they did the national anthem. The Chiefs were out there, and then the Texans, they didn't even take the field while they were doing the national anthem. So they stayed in the locker room. They came out after the fact. And then before the game started, both teams agreed to do a I guess like a moment of silence and unity type of thing where they go to the middle of the field and lock arms. And there was a small crowd there. I think it was maybe 20% of the stadium field. But they all locked arms. They locked arms and sat in the middle of the field in silence. And all you could hear were boos. There were more boos than anything. And I'm like, why are people booing? They're not being disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. And I was talking about this to my coworker the other day, but bro, I can't say. I'm gonna refrain from saying what I want to say because that may come off as a little disrespectful. But I guess to dumb it down a bit, let's just say that those people that were in the crowd booing were not people of color, okay? I'll just keep it at that. All right. So the next day, I remember that Friday. Actually, it was like Friday and Saturday. And even after the first few games on Sunday, people started to formulate opinions, and there were some articles that were published. People were sharing on Facebook. And I'm reading these ignorant comments of people upset, not of the fact that they're protesting per se. It's like they weren't against the cause. They were against the fact that they felt that this should be left out of sports. They're saying sports is not a place to bring political views. It's not a place for it. Leave politics out of sports and just play the damn game. But I'm like, look, and this is my opinion on it. first of all, these people that you worship, and I'm literally saying worship because you got some people that fucking live, breathe, like they are, without sports, they're nothing. Like when sports got canceled early in the year due to COVID, I know a bunch of people was sick because they didn't have any sports to go turn to. So these people are crazy about sports, okay? But you have individuals, some who may have been personally affected by this shit, and especially when a majority of your player base is black, I would hope that they would actually go ahead and speak out on the shit that's going on. So some people might argue, well, they're probably just doing it for the I can't English. They're doing it for the publicity. English is hard today. They doing it for the publicity. Man, I can't English. You know what I'm trying to say. And just for the views and shit. And then, like, I think me and my husband were having this discussion one day, like in the beginning, especially after the George Floyd killing. The companies coming out and saying how they supported Black Lives Matter and all this stuff. Like Call of Duty, they had a screen there. You had Amazon, all kinds of different companies showing their support. And he was trying to argue the fact that some of these companies might just be doing it just to kind of go along with the trend. And it's very, very, very true. That is a possibility. I would hate that if that is the case, and but I honestly won't be surprised if that is the truth. But what's the saying that no all publicity is good publicity? Why can I not say publicity? Look, y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say, okay? I'm just having a hard time with words for some reason. Publicity. There we go. But yeah, all that shit is good. It don't matter if it's negative, positive, whatever. It's like, as long as you putting that shit out there and people are seeing it, that's the goal, okay? So, going back to my point of the sports, like I said, besides the fact of, like I said, some people might think that they're trying to take advantage of it and just say they're using the trend as a way to, get more attention towards them. The other thing is, like I said, these are human beings. Yes, they are millionaires. They getting paid all this fucking money. I wish I could get $1 million myself personally. We gonna see how that work out in the future. But yeah, no, it's like, they're human too. They have feelings as well. And I think, matter of fact, one of the players, I forget on which team, I remember they mentioned it during the game. One of the players was a cousin of the guy that, what's his name? Aubrey, I think. The guy that got killed while he was jogging. I think that was his cousin. So that obviously hits him personally because that's family. So, I mean, you can't go ahead and tell them what they can and can't say. Like, if you don't agree with this shit, don't fucking watch. But, of course, they're not going to because people, like, bleed sports. They want to see the shit. So, I'm like, bro, just fucking... If anything, I saw some people commenting. They were like, yo, after all that booing, they should have just left the field and not played. And honestly, I wouldn't have faulted them for that if that was the case. Because if you gonna come out here... I come out here trying to do a peaceful protest saying that, yo, we're one, we're unifying together, and you boo me. Like, the fuck? Like, the fuck? I'm not here to entertain your bitch ass. Like, the fuck? Like, okay, you paid me money to be here, but I have freedom of speech. Like, if anything, I'm just not gonna fucking play. Because your ass, I don't know why you feel a certain type of way for voicing my opinion. It's like I said, at the end of the day, they're people too. They have feelings, they have emotions. It's more than just playing a fucking game to them. Like, yes, that's their jobs, but they have every right to go ahead and speak out against anything that they feel that needs to be spoken about. Yeah. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. Tell me what y'all think. Do y'all agree that players should be able to voice their opinions on certain things, whether it's political or whatever? Or do you feel like they should just play the game? Like I said, myself, I mean, and it's nothing against people that may not necessarily agree, but you got to understand the fact that even though it's not something you may not necessarily agree with, especially if it comes to them being affected personally by it, excuse me, you got to come to the realization that they are human beings as well, okay? So they're just not robots that come out every Sunday to play a game and then they go home and that's it. They got lives they got to live. They got kids, they got families, they got people they got to take care of. They fear for their lives as well, because after they take off their uniform, after they finish their 60 minutes of play or whatever, it's, well, yeah, I'm bugging. I'm thinking of something else. My bad. For some reason, I was thinking of NBA time. I don't know how many minutes is between each quarter for the NBA. But after they play their 60 minutes, they take off those pads, that uniform, and they go out into the real world. They just another black man. It's just another black man out there in the streets. And if they get pulled over by a cop, they could be the next one that people are talking about that get killed by a police officer for no reason. So it's more than just like a political view. Like, no, this is the only side that you see of them. You see them playing a sport that you love, and then after that, they go back home and do what they need to do as any other regular person would. So nah, you gotta get over that shit. To be quite honest, you just need to get over it. Alright, but that's enough about the protests. Let's get on to some gaming news. This is gonna be a quick segment, just because I haven't honestly been keeping up with a lot of the console talk. This is just my 2 cents, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But PlayStation, they had a conference, it was sometime last week, I think. They had a conference, finally announcing the pricing of the PlayStation 5. So it's gonna be two versions. You got the digital version and the disc version, and then the digital version. So the disc version with the disc drive, for those who like to have physical copies of their games. I'm actually one of those people. I just like physical copies, but I'll see how much money I get. I might get the discless. We'll see. But the disc version is it's $499.99, so $500, and the discless version is $399.99, so $400. And of course, Xbox, I think they got 2 versions. They have the $499, and then they have another one that's going to be $299. I don't know. I didn't check the difference because I don't keep up with Xbox, and maybe I should have just looked up this information to just compare. But my opinion, any gamers out there, I'm a PC gamer. Okay, I have a gaming PC. That's where I play majority of my games on. I do have a PlayStation. I use my PlayStation for the exclusives, and that's it. I haven't bought a sports game and I don't know how long. And if I did still buy sports games, if I did buy sports games, then that would be another reason for me to have a console. But I haven't bought. Hell, when was the last 2K I bought was probably like 16 or 17, and then the last Madden I bought was probably roughly around the same time. I think 17 or 18. I don't know, but it's been some years. And then I have I don't have the newest UFC. I have one of the last UFC, UFC 2. I know 3 came out a few months ago. But yeah, my opinion as far as consoles, because you have people, Xbox versus PlayStation. And you got PC gamers that are just sitting in the back like, well, we about to get the 30 series graphics cards. I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people. I got a 1060, and like I've been holding out on buying a new graphics card. Like I didn't want to get the 20 series because I'm like, I don't want to get it and then waste money when the 30 series comes out if it's gonna be better. I'm glad I held out. I'm probably gonna get the 3070. So I think they said the 3070 it runs better than the 2080 Ti if I remember. So, and it's only $500. So all those people that bought the 2080 Ti's, I know they are upset because that was like $1,500 for that card. I know those people are sick that they didn't wait. Yeah, I know that was completely random, but the thing is, because I don't really understand like the whole console war thing. It just seems pointless to me. You're gonna have a preference on where you like to game. So my preference is PC. You have a lot more flexibility as far as like just in general. Like you could, one perk is that besides paying for your internet, you don't have to pay to play online like how you do on consoles. You have to get a subscription to do that. You can customize your PC as you please. Usually if you invest a certain amount of money into your PC build, you won't have to worry about actually upgrading anything like you can upgrade stuff over time. And if anything, the PC pays for itself. Like I forget how much I put into like total for my parts, but I can estimate anywhere between like, I don't know, close to $1,200. But this build, I technically, like, I first built my gaming PC back in, was it 2018? This is 2020, right? It was like 2017, I think I finally built it because I was slowly building up parts. And then my computer kept like blue screening and shit randomly. So I was replaced. Like at first I thought it was my motherboard. So I got a new motherboard and I got a new processor, and the shit was still happening. So it turned out that it was actually my power supply. So we swapped that out and it's been fine ever since. But I've been slowly upgrading my parts. So like I got the new board, I got the new processor, I got the new CPU cooler. The only thing that I haven't upgraded is my GPU, and I haven't added any more RAM. I still have 16 gigs of RAM. So I'm up that to 32. And then when the 3070 comes out, and whenever I get some extra cash, I'll upgrade it to that. And I'm set. Like I don't have to do like a full like revamp because all my parts for the most part are new besides my GPU. So I kind of already prepped, I guess you could say, not intentionally for the new GPU, but I'm glad I did because I have the latest processor and the board that goes with it and all that. So that's good. But I know I get off topic, but no, it's just like it's a lot more flexibility when it comes to PC gaming. You can play with mouse and keyboard, or you can plug in a controller. Like matter of fact, I have an Xbox controller here that I use occasionally for games that may be controller compatible. Some games may run better using a mouse and keyboard versus a controller. Yeah, and you can't forget, sometimes a game looks beautiful. Now the consoles there, obviously they have a set, like, almost not standard, but they have a set limit, I guess you can say, of how much their games can actually be run. So like, I don't know the specs on the new consoles coming out, but I think they're gonna be running 60 frames standard. Because I know like last with PS4, I think it was 30 if I remember. I could be wrong. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But with PC, you ain't gotta be stuck at 60. You fucking, depending on what your build is, you could run some shit at like 200 frames. I mean, it's not gonna make a difference in far as your performance, I guess, or how you're gonna play. But I mean, you probably can't even see 200 frames a second. But it just looks smoother and cleaner. It looks nice. That's all. I don't know. But Oh, this was the main point I was trying to get at, because I keep getting off topic. Y'all know how I be ranting and stuff. So like I said, I have a PlayStation, okay? I have a PlayStation, I have a PC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, you can play the Xbox exclusives on PC as well, through the Game Pass, I think. Not Game Pass, but there's an Xbox store on here, I know, because I had played Minecraft Dungeons. Excuse me. I think I need to take a nap after this shit. But I played Minecraft Dungeons off of the Xbox store. I downloaded that. And I saw like a bunch of the other Xbox exclusives. So there's honestly, if you want to do a PC and a PlayStation and then a Switch because you wanted the Nintendo games, that's really all you need. There's no need for you to get an Xbox. Like, the only reason you would need an Xbox if you don't PC game. Like I said, if you're just one of those people that prefers to play on console versus PC. But even then, like, you can hook up a controller. Most games, especially if it is a Xbox exclusive, 9 times out of 10, you can play it on your controller as well. So, it doesn't hurt. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Y'all can have y'all opinions. That's just me. But other than that, like I know they briefly talked about like some exclusives that are gonna be coming out. To be quite honest, there isn't anything that's catching my eye right now. I feel like this is kind of gonna be like, well, actually, I don't even have any games that I'm looking forward to before the new consoles come out. To be quite honest. Because you know how, like, for instance, the last generation, when we had PS3 going into PS4, that's when all the bangers were dropping. I don't feel like it's the same in this case. It's the end of a generation, and yet there actually isn't anything that's, like, catching my eye. That's like, oh my god, I can't wait for this to come out. I think the game everybody's talking about is, Cyberpunk? I don't know too much about it, but I don't know. There isn't anything that's catching my eye though still. I know me and my peoples, we end up coming across like some indie games, like low-key games that a lot of people don't know about. And we have a lot of fun on those. You don't always have to play AAA games in order to have fun. Like, hell, we've been playing this game that we've been playing recently. It's called Among Us. I don't know if you're familiar with the game Mafia. Or I'm pretty sure there's other, like, variations of the game. But I think it originates from Mafia. Where you have a killer. And you essentially have a group of people. Out of that group of people, there's one person that's a killer. And you essentially just have to figure out who that killer is. And that's it. So it's similar. And Among Us, you have a bunch of people. You go around. You're trying to do tasks. Excuse me. Like, you can have up to 3 imposters. You play with up to 3 people. You can have up to 3 imposters. And that person is going to go around and try to kill as many people as they can. And in the process, you have to figure out who the imposter is. And that's essentially it. It's just kind of funny because you go ahead and you... It's funny. You have to look it up. Oh, excuse me. Yep. It's about time for me to take a nap. But that's really all I got. I guess I wouldn't call it like console news. It's just more like just console updates. I don't know. Because I honestly haven't really been keeping up with much gaming stuff in general. I usually just get it from my homies. They'll tell me like, yo, try this game out, or this is hot, this is what we're playing now. I'm like, okay. It's nothing there isn't anything that I'm like keeping up with like on a regular basis. So that's it. That's really it. That's all I got. This wasn't as deep as a conversation as I guess you could say is what I was talking about, like the last one. Oh, and completely random. I might end up changing the name of the podcast because it's funny. After I went ahead and named it Toya Talks, like I was telling a coworker of mine about it, and she was like, "Oh, there's was it her or was it somebody else?" Oh no! Oh yeah. I remember because she gave me the idea. So somebody had told me that there's actually already a person that has a podcast named Toya Talks, and I was like, oh. So I might change it to Toya Tangents because sometimes I do just go on tangents, and just keep talking about shit. So I might change it. I'll see. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and see how this goes. We might end up changing it. We may not. We'll see. We gonna work it out though. We gonna work it out. That's all I got. To be honest, I don't have nothing else. Where we at? 45 minutes. Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah. So make sure you guys leave a comment below if it's something y'all want me to discuss. I can discuss it. Let me know. Yeah, that's all I got. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and catch you guys on the next video, and I'm out. Bye.